Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's World Rankings preview ahead of the weekend. 10 of the top 15 nations are in action this weekend, so a lot of movement is possible. A lot of teams sort of getting back into the swing of things, the likes of Italy and Scotland, for example, getting their sort of World Cup preparations underway, as well as the British Cup, as well as the end of the Rugby Championship, and a couple of other teams also in action as well. So before we look at exactly what can happen, where the box can go, where the box can't go, and can there be a sort of a change within the top four, which there can be. There will not be a change at number one. Ireland are safe for now. But if the results go the right way, then they could be a little bit under threat from New Zealand in particular. Before we look at the various sort of scenarios in which teams will move up and down, as well as look at some of the matchup results for the weekend, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. So, for example, as I said, in the 10 teams are in action, and of them, in 3 of the matches, it is possible for lower ranked teams to move above their hosts. So that's sort of very nice. A bit of jeopardy there, where a win would all of a sudden sort of move them ahead of the people they are actually playing against, which is quite cool. Obviously, it'll depend on the margin of victory and stuff like that. In terms of New Zealand, they are the ones that can sort of start to hunt down that top 2. They will stay third unless they lose to Australia by 15 points and South Africa beat Argentina by 15 points. So pretty unlikely that both those sort of scenarios do happen. So they're pretty safe with regards to sort of staying in third. The big thing for them, though, is that any win for them would actually move them into second place above France. So all they need to do is win this weekend and they will move up to second place. If they were to win by 15 points or more, for example, they would also close the gap to Ireland to only 1.05 points, which is obviously quite a big sort of cut there. So that's sort of the big thing for New Zealand. Now, Australia, who are taking on New Zealand, they cannot slip any lower than their present position of 8th, but they can go as high as 5th if they beat the All Blacks and if other results go their way. So it could be quite a big swing for Australia if they were to get that surprise win. In terms of South Africa, not much going to be happening for them. For example, they can't move into third unless New Zealand were to drop rating points, so they were to lose by a margin of 15 points. But we are not in danger of slipping below 4th. We're pretty safe there. The top 4 pretty quite sort of far from the rest of the teams out there. In terms of Argentina, it'll depend on how Australia go. If Argentina lose and Australia win, they will fall to 8th unless Scotland also lose to Italy. However, if Argentina were to beat the Springboks, they will actually move up to 5th, which is their highest position since 2016. And the gap between the two teams will be down to less than a point if they win by more than 15 points. So all of a sudden, Argentina can actually close in on overtaking South Africa. Scotland cannot improve on their rating or position in the rankings this weekend, but they could fall as low as 8th if they are beaten by Italy and other results go against them as well. A win for Italy by 15 points or more will send them back into the top 10 for the first time in just over 10 years. If the Samoa versus Fiji game ends in a draw, or Fiji also win but fail to match the victory margin. Having broken to the top 10 last week, Samoa will continue to climb the rankings if they beat Fiji by more than 15 points. And such an outcome would see them climb above Wales into 9th place, which will relegate Wales down to 10th. But Fiji will become the higher ranked of the two nations if they avenge last year's defeat against Samoa, and they can climb as high as 10th. In terms of Japan, they cannot improve on their 12th place because they would still be behind Georgia even if they were to have a big win. But a defeat to Tonga could result in falling down to 15th, depending on the margin and other sort of results out there. Tonga themselves can go a maximum of 1 place better if they were to win by more than 15 points. Chile and Uruguay are also involved this weekend, but they cannot improve their rankings. Sorry, I lied. A win for Chile would they could see them overtake Namibia, who are taking on Argentina 15, which is a non-cap match. So they could move it to 21st. That's the only sort of movement that can happen with regards to Chile and Uruguay. In terms of the match officials this weekend, Wayne Barnes will be taking charge of Australia versus New Zealand. The Irish Andrew Brace will take on South Africa versus Argentina. Angus Gardner will be the man in charge of Fiji and Samoa. Matthew Carden from England will be taking charge of Japan versus Tonga. Ben O'Keefe from New Zealand is going to be the man in charge of Scotland versus Italy, and Luke Pearce will referee Chile versus Uruguay. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Let me know what you would like to see in terms of what you think could be some of the movement this weekend. And unfortunately for South Africa, not too many good news, but it will be interesting to see if New Zealand could move into second place, which they only need a victory to do. So, New Zealand could very much well be sort of putting themselves back into that position of being one of the top two sides in the world and gaining on Ireland. And with New Zealand having a couple of decent warm matches, especially against the likes of Springboks, they could continue that sort of charge as well. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.